throttle, victory is mine. Show you the harder the battle.
How relevant is that song on This Is How Legends Are Made? And you got Lyle freaking Stokes up on here. All
Right?
right,
It
that's all
is
my energy for the
Lyle
night.
Stokes Day. Super excited about it. Oh my! Oh, and of course it's Thursday, which means I get to go fishing tomorrow, so nobody dies.
Yet,
Yay!
yet.
Lyle,
Hey,
welcome!
thank
Yay!
you. Thank you. Glad to be here.
I am so happy to have you here.
Oh, we'll have a fun time.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! My turn. And you were nominated not just for the Legend, but the Hall of Fame. You were actually nominated for both.
That's awesome.
And
I've said this many, many times, but being nominated for these awards is it's pretty prestigious. A lot of people overlook awards uh, for different reasons, but anytime that people in whatever venue you're dealing with, whether it be fishing or racing cars or whatever, when the people that you are dealing with think of you to nominate you for award, that's pretty cool.
I like it. You know, when I first took it over, I kept hearing a lot of negatives about it and stuff. But I got to tell you, the turnaround has been amazing. It has been amazing. People are actually honored and excited, and I'm like, this is a big deal. If somebody nominates me, I'm freaking screaming it off the rooftop.
Yeah, I agree. I get excited every year. I don't plan on winning a bunch of stuff, but like I say, if people think enough of what you've done over the years, and it doesn't mean that you go out and you give something away one time and everybody says, "Oh man, this guy here, he's something special." This mean to me is an accomplishment over the last 20 or so years that people think enough of you that what you've done. So, for example, Catfish Weekly started in 2014. You know, or thereabouts. I don't remember exactly. Uh, but we didn't even know it would work. It started out as a radio show, and I was asked to be honored as a guest, and Paul said, "What do you think it'd take to make it better?" I said, "You can figure out a way to go live and broadcast this as video. I think it'll work." And about 2 days later, he says, "I found something. It was called Google Hangouts. My God, that was the worst stuff to ever use in the world." That's what we had. That's all there was in those days.
So listen, one of the qualifications for the Legend is obviously being in the industry for a very long time. And you have been in the industry for a long time.
Yeah, quite a
Let us
while.
hear it. What's the start of your catfishing?
Well, I started catfishing years and years and years ago. I remember uh, in the very first part of it, there was a um, uh, what did you call that? The Brotherhood of Catfishermen is what it was originally called. And when I joined that, it had 600 members, and it had several hundred thousand um, when it went out. And I guess it's out. I mean, I was kicked off and on it, and then asked to be back on it so many times it wasn't even funny. I just got tired of going back. But that was a big deal in those days because it was the first thing that I ever remember that was dedicated to catfishing, and everybody eventually made it on there. I remember Dieter Melhorn was on there, and in those days he was called and something Catman, Wiley Catman, because he fished like Wiley.
That's
And
hilarious.
then later on, he became Dieter Melhorn Fishing. But he was on there about the same time I got on there, and a lot of the people still remember being on there and stuff. Like I say, 600 members when I joined, and like 600,000 when I finally said I had all that I could handle because he called me in the middle of the night sometimes. "Oh, come back on there. People are wondering where you're at." Dude, you kicked me off last night.
Okay, I'm gonna be that guy. How do you get kicked off a show there, Lyle?
Voice your opinion.
Oh, well, you won't get kicked off mine for that.
I'm a little opinionated, you know.
Wait, V, you
You know,
do
that's why we get
realize
along so well,
Yeah,
Lyle.
I guess so. Yeah.
you know how he catches crappie? I bet he eats them too.
Oh, I do.
Stop it. He did that on purpose. I'm going to tell you
Well,
what life is like being a tree hugger who doesn't eat animals and being in a group of all guys.
let's
Yeah,
say let's say hi to some folks before we go too far here.
let's do it.
Got the Bauer boys. That's what I'm calling them. Apparently, my keyboard's loud. We have Chris, of course. He's probably like 3 feet off camera.
No,
Rowdy
he's in the
Royal.
bedroom.
Heather Stokes.
My daughter.
Yeah.
Hi, daughter.
Stands
Oh,
here.
my God.
Like how you say, hey, daughter, and her name's literally in the.
It sounds nicer when you say daughter.
Okay.
You shut your face hole in there.
The Jeff Fishing Show. River Rat and Cindy.
Yep.
All right, who are we missing from the family? That's half of them. Did I say
just
River
shared,
Rat?
I just shared you out Catfish Weekly into my personal page, so we'll see if that helps any to get some viewers in.
Oh. I was unable to get it on the Facebook, but I shared the YouTube link on the Facebook page.
Okay. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Why? I don't know why it won't work. This is the second week in a row it wouldn't work. I don't know
And
what's going on with that.
Uptown Chrissy Brown.
Yep, I'm not sure.
All right, I'm caught up. I'm caught up so far.
Okay. Do I have to do it?
We'll try that. Yeah, we'll try that next time.
Okay, because, I don't know.
It wasn't recognizing the stream key. It seemed like it's not a thing. I messed with it enough. It's not a thing we're gonna fix in the next 2 seconds.
Okay.
I
All right.
will let you know. I don't anticipate any issues, but we have a severe thunderstorm moving into my area as we speak.
Oh,
Oh.
Just to
okay.
let you know, if something
Well,
happens, that's probably what it is.
well, let's go ahead and shut the show down right now, just in case.
No,
That's
let's
good.
not, because I got to hear about Lyle's history here. I'm
All right.
excited. So, we've established that Lyle's a troublemaker. He gets kicked off shows, and he's been in the industry a really long time. Let's hear some of your accomplishments, Lyle, because you have a laundry list of them.
Well, we fish tournaments. Cindy and I fished tournaments for years and years and years. My sons and I fished tournaments before that, and I fished with a lot of other guys. Keith, buddy of mine, lives over by Columbia and stuff. Him and I fished quite a bit together. And uh, one of the big things that I had was emceeing the MRM one year. I had a really good time doing
Ooh.
that. Didn't fish,
Oh,
didn't
that would be fun.
Yeah, I think it was 2019. I enjoyed that very much. We used to go out and do live shows. Well, of course, we did the Catfish Conference. We done live shows for the first. Well, we was at the very first one and done them up until 2019. I think was the last year. And we'd set up and do live shows, broadcasts, 2 days in a row, and people would just come by the booth and we'd get them in there and interview them and visit with them and stuff like that. And I really enjoyed that. In fact, at one point, I was considering having to building a trailer with a stage on it. We could just pull in there and open it up and be right there ready to go. And if I was still doing that, I would probably have one because that's the proper way to do it. And we go to others. I went to some for Alex Nagy, and back after I give him, we used to run Twisted Cat Outdoors. I started it, run it for 10 years. Cindy and I did, and I give it to Alex Nagy, give him all the equipment, everything to make him be able to be successful.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of attending both MRMs and live broadcasting them in Memphis and in Vicksburg. What an amazing events those are.
They're pretty nice. Yeah, we used to fish them all the time. The last one I went to, of course, I didn't get to fish. You can't do all that other stuff and fish them both. That's the reason why we got tired of doing the tournaments, because we was trying to fish them and run them. Well, after you launch everybody, you're an hour later, you're leaving out to go fish. And then to get everything set back up for weigh-in, you had to come in at least an hour early. And if somebody had a fish that they didn't think could make it, you had to come back in from where you was at, weigh that fish, and then try to go back out and fish. Well, we was just donating entry fees all
Oh, you're trying to pull double duty.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just impossible to do that and do it correctly. But
Yeah,
yeah, we run them tournaments for 10 years, and that was a lot of fun.
And then
I,
how often was your phone blowing up during the day while you were trying to fish if you were the one running it?
Constantly.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun, honestly.
Well, people, well, this guy done this, or this guy's fishing early. That's one of the biggest things that,
Oh my
that
God.
I do not like is trailering tournaments. I rarely will fish one, and I don't like the ones where they let boats go out early and stuff. There's too many things that goes wrong, and I've been called. When I give that tournament series to Alex, the first tournament series, the first one he done, I went up and helped him set up. The second one, we went up and helped him set it all up, get it running, and I went home. And it was in Iowa, and we was, of course, in Northwest Missouri, but it was like 2 or 3 hour drive. I get home and I got messages all over my computer where such and such was fishing across the line at the dam. Well, the rules say if you do anything that's breaking the law, you're disqualified. That was a major deal. I had thought I was going to have to go back up there. Another time, guys, they're fishing before time. You got to call Alex. I'm not doing this anymore because they didn't try to pull that stuff. I would just disqualify. It didn't matter who it was. If my best friend, if you're wrong and you know you're wrong, you're out. That's just how it has to be.
Right.
Um,
so cheating? Like cheating?
oh yeah,
Oh,
Oh my gosh, that's
yeah.
crazy. I
V,
can't wrap my head around doing that.
I know you
I've
think
heard,
everyone in the world's wonderful, but I guarantee you there's still some cheaters at every tournament we've been to this year.
Oh, I promise you,
oh,
there
that
is.
would make me so sad because listen, we all know I'm a butterflies and sunshine, everything happy kind of person, and I love everyone. That would devastate me.
It happens more than you probably realize, and
Oh, I hope not. Oh my gosh. Nope, my bubble.
go, go back to your safe place,
Stay
puppies and
out.
flowers.
You guys stay out, you negative Nancy. Stay out.
it's not negative. It's just honesty.
No, I'm just messing. I know. I heard they used to that people were tying fish up and going and getting them the next
Oh
day.
yeah, now I didn't ever personally see any of that, but I know it's happened. One of the
Oh,
things that I used to do that I really enjoyed was I built custom fishing rods for years and years and years and years. Well, since 1984, and I would donate them as prizes for a lot of the bigger tournaments, Cabela's, MRM, Monsters on the Ohio.
that's awesome.
I think I donated some to the guys down in Texas when they had a big tournament down there. I done it for a lot of tournaments, and they went to a lot of year-end prizes, and I enjoyed doing that. I put decals with their names and stuff on them, and I enjoyed doing that. I done some really nice ones for Cabela's one time, and one of the reasons why I was so mad at the Cabela's guys because the only thing I was supposed to get out of it was my name on the paper, and they didn't do that. And I thought, well, that's kind of sad. That's not what I said, but it's kind
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely, yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
of
Oh my gosh. Well, cheaters never win.
that's not always true, but most of the time you're right. And they got
Well,
to
they may
sleep with
win, but
themselves.
they technically didn't, no matter how hard they try to
That's
convince
right.
themselves that cheat is always going to
I'll
be there.
I'll
And
speak for the
no, you
RCT
did not
crew,
win.
and I'll say I guarantee none of our guys cheated. And if somebody did, and I'll find out about it, I will skin them myself for besmirching the RCT name. So
Oh, you would have to wait in line.
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
One
So,
of the big
Lyle,
things that I do now that I really enjoy is when I go to these little lakes and stuff that I fish, and kids are struggling. The other day, I spent time with a young man. His dad didn't know very much about fishing. His kid was trying to catch a fish, and I spent probably 30 or 45 minutes with him, and finally caught some and let him reel them in because he didn't get the grasp of that. And I probably give away, I don't know, 3 or 400 jigs to people at things. I make these kids and they come up there and talk to me. I'll give them some jigs. I make them take a picture with me, and I always post it on Facebook and stuff.
That's awesome.
I
How long
enjoy
have
that.
you been doing YouTube? When did you start YouTube?
I don't really remember, to be honest. We done some stuff. We done some stuff off and on before Catfish Weekly, but not a lot of it was trial and error because not only did I not know how to do it, nobody I knew how to do it. And it was a lot of that was trial and error. A lot of it's gone now, thank goodness, because it was horrible. We was talking about wind noise before the show, and
Oh my
and
god.
in those days, they didn't have a lot of the stuff to stop the wind noise, so the audio was always bad. And a lot of that stuff has been removed since then. But yeah, it was a lot of fun getting started. But live broadcasts, like we used to go to Monsters on the Ohio, and the people down there, Sheila and Jim had a tackle shop, and we do every year we go down there and do live shows all day long at their bait shop. And Jim told me one time, he said, "This is the busiest day of the year for us." He said, "We do more business when you're here than we even do through the Christmas holiday." And I thought that was really cool because people would line up and they'd sit and play cards waiting for their turn to come up and do an interview with us.
Hey.
That's
It
awesome.
was it was the greatest time. We really had a good time doing that.
I noticed that it now there's so much competition to be better than the next person that there's not so much support and waiting in line and wanting to meet the other anglers. And I hope we change that
Yeah.
because everybody wants to be the best, but they forget the friendships that are in fishing. That's one of the biggest things about it. It's amazing.
One of the most fun things is going to those big tournaments. When Cindy and I go to them big tournaments, we went to Monsters on the Ohio one day, and we used to all stay at the Ramada Inn, and it was very, very tight parking. And we pulled in there about 11 o'clock the night we showed up for the tournament, and there was a line of people out there waiting for us because they knew we was coming in, and they helped me get back into this real tight spot. And we'd stay up on the tailgate of the truck and visit with people and talk fishing and Catfish Weekly, and might have an adult beverage or something till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning.
See,
Every
I
night we was
love
there.
doing that.
It's a blast. It
It's why
really
I
is. Had
love
a
the
great.
gatherings so much. That's one of the
Yeah.
reasons I moved the Golden Whiskers to the gathering because that is what I like about fishing, the getting together, hanging out, cooking out,
Yep.
fishing together, camping together. That is part of it for me. And I
Oh,
just
there's one more thing that I forgot about that I really, really enjoy,
what
and it's not winning tournaments or being competitive in
Buffets.
tournaments. I was a judge at the Catfish Conference one year for the Catfish Cook-Off.
Oh, okay. I
Oh,
was I was close.
oh, man,
nice.
that was freaking awesome, I gotta tell you.
That's awesome. I like it. I like it.
I really did enjoy that. Uh, Nikki Ishcomer, when her husband and daughter was cooking in that, and there was, I don't know, 6 or 8 other people in there, and they all had great catfish. There wasn't a bad piece that I ate, and, I after it was over and the winner was announced, I was kinda hoping there'd be some leftovers, but somebody got beat me to them.
You know, maybe we should add a cook off at the Golden Whiskers Award. Everybody catching fish and cooking them, and that final award be, you
Mark would
know,
be my buddy Mark would be in for that. He's quite
think
the
Where
about
cook.
that though.
you
Everybody's
have to
fishing that
catch your
weekend.
fish that you're frying, that you're cooking over there.
Yes,
You have
that's
to
what I'm.
catch 'em,
I
that's
tell you
one
You,
more
what,
idea.
you let me catch a fresh fish and show y'all how to make a sauce pecan up in Tennessee.
A what?
That's a lockdown.
I'm just saying that would be pretty cool to
It
add
says
that award, but
sauce
it's an award that's
pecan.
only done at the event, and the fish you catch that Friday while you're there before the banquet and the presentation. bring your food and there be, and everybody do a cook off. That would be kind of fun. I'm just
That
saying.
Yeah, Chris, that's how we'll lure Lyle there is with like, look, we're cooking.
I like
No,
food. I
Lyle said he
like
was
to eat.
coming this year. If it
That's right.
didn't fall on the which tournament, there's
Uh,
something that
there's something Danny
The
Stone wants me to do.
Crab
I,
Orchard.
no, I'm not going to go to that. I'd like
the
to. I just can't.
apparently the gathering might be during the Sea Arc Invitational.
I don't go to it.
I don't know. I did hear that for the first time last night that it may be that it hasn't been announced, but there's nothing we can do about that. Everything's
Neither.
already
Cindy,
paid for at the gathering.
Look, we'll
Cindy
get you
said
Steve Henderson's
2000.
phone number. You can call up and have a chat with him.
Yeah, Cindy said 2010, 2011 was when it started YouTube stuff.
Started YouTube? Nice. Did you start off just fishing or with educational videos or what'd you do?
My whole goal has always been to try to help people catch more fish. Now, in the tournament world, um, I never anybody asked me a question, I'd tell them the answer, and I'd give them the correct answer. I didn't make something up, and if it was something I didn't want to share, I usually did anyhow. But there was one other thing that I wanted to mention. Cindy and I fished um, uh, Fishing for Freedom out of Quincy, Illinois, every year for years and years and years. And with Fishing for Freedom, they have a week-long thing where they take current military folks and veterans, and they all sign up, and a fisherman takes them out in their boat fishing for a 4-hour tournament. No money involved, just bragging rights and maybe a plaque or something like that. And we done that for years and years and years, and that is one of the most rewarding things that you could possibly do.
I,
I promise you it is.
I'm going to 100% agree with you because we do the Disabled Veterans Outdoors Sandusky Bay every year. And we're doing the Boots on the Water too this year. And those are Boots in the Water. This is our first one, but Sandusky Bay we've done the last couple of years. That is one of the greatest events we go to.
Yeah. There's usually, I don't several hundred boats, and they're always looking for more. And these people put everybody up in a motel. Everybody.
Yep.
If you
Yep.
travel over an hour, they find you a motel room for how many days you're going to be there. They feed you at least one meal and usually two. Uh, and then
Per
you go
sitting,
what?
like 2 meals per sitting, or is that
Well,
just
you
me?
get all you want. You get all you want.
You
I
do. It's a
promise.
buffet.
Yeah. Well, no.
Well, they do.
It's
They have a big line.
yeah. This is at one of them is at like a VFW hall or something like that. Them ladies make some good food, and another is at the it's catered in at the awards bank.
Yep. Sandusky Bay is at the lodge. And then I'm not sure. I don't. Boots on the Water is actually at the event, I think. But the raffle is just insane.
Exactly. Yeah, they have some really cool stuff at those. Is a very rewarding thing to do. If anybody that has any type of uh, honor about themselves or care for their country, there's nobody in this world that needs or deserves more than our military folks. And if you
Agreed.
ever get a chance to go and be part of those, you'll do them for a long time, like we did. Uh, and it's important to those people. They're ever so gracious and appreciative that you do it, and it is a lot of fun.
And I will say, with that said, Boots on the Water is in need of, I believe, 15 captains still. Um, because they have an influx of veterans, but there's still 15 boats shy for the
I'm
event
so
next.
far from it though.
You know
Yeah,
what? It's very rewarding, Andrew.
it
I
is.
know that's a long way
It's so
for,
fun.
and it's
They are
not my
just
boat.
absolutely so fun. And I'm live broadcasting that event for them, so you should come.
I'd have to steal his boat and cross the country. It
We'll
might be
send a
much.
distraction to Jeremy. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Now
So
tell me
is this an announcement or a joke? Randy Swain said that Danny and Lyle are fishing in Owensboro at the championship,
What championship?
the World Championship.
the
Steve's in
World
Oh,
Owensboro.
Championship.
he is talking about that. That was what I couldn't remember what it was, but
Well,
we'll see. I haven't
Danny's
committed to
talking
that.
about it.
Danny, maybe that's what
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, I haven't committed to anything yet.
Yeah, that's
According
a
to
pricey
Danny,
tournament,
you've
but
committed to fishing all kinds of stuff with him.
could you imagine winning that title? I'm just saying. I mean, I'd like to win it. I am not good enough to fish that yet, but I mean, I just have never fished those waters well enough to compete in
See,
them.
see now Jeremy pops in chat. See,
He
but
heard
Jeremy,
steal the boat, and here he is.
it's steal your boat and cross the country to benefit veterans. Though, come on.
Yeah. All right, Lyle. When did you? So Catfish Weekly has been 5 years.
Oh no,
How long?
it. I think we're starting our 12th year.
Oh my gosh!
I think June started our 12th season. Yeah, I believe that.
Holy cow! I know you won an award last year, but I was unaware. I don't know about the previous years. Have
I've
you
got
won?
I've got some others. The little medal that you wear around your neck. I've got, I don't know, two, three, four of them. I don't have them where I can lay my hands on them at the moment. But
These things
yeah,
We're doing
yeah, those,
plaques. We're not doing the little medals anymore.
that's
I
okay.
did. I did switch up. I
I
did.
like that. Those plaques look very nice.
Thank you. Thank you. I
can
want
I put a
people to want
can
them.
I put a chain and wear it around my neck?
Sure.
They're an 11 by 10 solid cherry wood frame
So yes.
plaque. So could be a little awkward and heavy, but
What would be
Yeah.
different than that than them guys that play sports wearing them gold necklaces?
oh my gosh. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. The catfishing community wearing their plaques around their neck as their bling. Can you see it now?
Yep.
I just
I know.
can't. It,
I know Jeremy's here because I specifically told him Lyle would be on, and he only got home like 30 minutes ago. He's probably desperate to go to bed if he's not watching from bed.
Jeff, there are a lot of big fish down there. Unfortunately, commercial fishing has made it a little harder to find them. But boy, when you can, there's some beasts down there in Owensburg. Plus, it's a beautiful area.
It is a beautiful area.
Yeah, yep, that is for sure. So,
See,
Lyle,
Yes,
Stan gets
ma'am.
it.
other accomplishments you have. Um, we found that you got kicked off shows a lot.
Yeah, I have.
Started doing this in the 80s. Is that what
No,
you said?
no. 2010, 2011, somewhere along in there.
That's for this, but I mean in the catfishing world.
Oh, I don't know how long ago that was. I've been fishing catfish tournaments a long time. Doc and Lang and I used to message each other back and forth or email because there wasn't messenger back in
Or
those days about
pigeon
tournaments.
notes.
Yeah, he fished tournaments the same day I did, or the same weekend, and he would be fishing a tournament in Ohio, and I would be fishing them in Missouri, and we compare notes back and forth. I called him up one day on the phone. I said, "Doc," I said, "I've got a new rod blank that I really think is really cool. If I send you one, will you test it?" And I said, "I don't want you to say it's great if it's not, and if there's anything about it that you don't like, let me know because I think I found something that's really special." And he called me up, he said, "I've never seen anything like it." And I his wife at the time, Lynn, who was still alive, she caught a West Virginia state record blue cat. And it wasn't a giant, but it was a record for their state in a tournament they had over there. So I built Lynn a rod with all the information of that tournament on it and sent it to her, and I'm sure Doc still has it. I mean, Lynn used that rod religiously. Uh, Lynn Lang was a great lady and a wonderful person. Of course, Doc and I have been going on ever since, and I sent him rods to test for me for years, and him and I was, and Cindy was down at MRM one year, and I had got a new rod blank to make bumping rods out of. In fact, it's still the blank that I use, and people want to know how to do it. And I won't give it to them.
That's
I
the
have
one
it.
at so that's the story of the blank at Jeremy's house.
That's exactly right. And
Wow.
I had this blank, and I took it down, and I said, Doc, I want you to try this blank to see if you like it. And he picked it up. He said, "What's it weigh?" I said, "Just under 7 ounces without a reel."
Not much.
No, it didn't weigh much. And
That's awesome.
we was in the back of the boat. He's bumping along there, and a fish grabbed hold of that thing and bent the rod over and jerked it out of his hand, and it skipped off of the back of the boat, and he grabbed it by the knob just before it went in the water. He looked like a hermit crab running across that boat. And the fish got off. He looked at me and he says, "I guess you know you ain't never getting this back." I said, "Yeah."
I
Okay,
know.
Lyle, we're supposed to ask you what is your favorite place to fish?
Well, that's kind of tough. I'd have to say Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis?
Memphis, people talk about Wheeler Lake and all that, Tennessee River, and it's good fishing. There's nothing wrong with it. I enjoy fishing those places. But Memphis has got the biggest fish. They got the most fish. And
Lyle, I feel like we need to convince you to make a trip down to somewhere near
well,
my house over here.
I haven't been down there, so this is on my experience of what I've been to. I love fishing all over, but I like big rivers and fast currents. I really do.
That's
I like
nice.
fish.
If you
Most
can make a
people don't
trip, you're welcome on Jeremy's boat.
I understand it.
And I don't have to ask his permission to say that.
Yeah, he's told me that. Most people are afraid of fishing flooded water on the big river, and that's my favorite time of the year to fish. And a lot of people won't get out there but man, the fishing's great when the water's high. You just got to find them, and that's what I like to do is find the fish.
Great
You know,
fishing,
I
great bite, but
learned,
harder to find. Yep.
I actually learned that this year watching my stalking victim. I watched him go into flooded waters and catch these monsters. And I never really thought about it because I was like, well, the fish aren't going to really think about that because there's not generally water there. But no, watching him, I learned that that is a thing and there are big ones, big ones in there.
Yep, I love fishing below dams on the Mississippi River.
That's
I
a,
And it's
truly love that.
yeah,
and
I'm
especially
excited.
I know Lyle has looked at the area before. Once you're on the lower Mississippi, when it's over the banks, you might have 5 miles of flooded timber between the
Yeah,
river and the bank.
yeah.
That's crazy though. I just never thought about them coming up into those waters when they were there. I just figured they would avoid them because it's not normal.
When you come down, we're going to show you flood years where water is. You're going to see, and you're going to be amazed, like, holy cow, it's way up here.
Yeah.
But I know Jeremy asked, I think it's basically a question. You were talking about the original, how you had the origin of that bumping blank. Jeremy's asking specifically about the history of Black Horse Customs.
Well, in about 1983, I was doing a lot of fly fishing, and there was a guy that worked in a fly shop, built custom rods, and he was like 2 years behind all the time. You couldn't get one from him, and a rod from him in those days was $750, and that was a ton of money in 1983. And I went down to Charlie's and I said, "Man, I'm getting ready to go to Colorado one of these days, and I want to take a fly rod out there in case I kill out. I have something to do while we're staying out in the mountains, and I want a 4-piece flat tack rod." And hardly anybody would build one of those. And he said, "I'll build you one." He said, "It's going to be high," and I said, "That's fine." Well, he come up with this idea. The motor was shot in his car, and the transmission was shot in his car. So I rebuilt the motor and transmission in his car for this fishing. And I went back sometime later and I said, "Charlie, I need you to build me a bass rod," because I was fishing bass tournaments in those days. I know I'm going to hear a lot of crap about that,
Hey,
but
I like
I'm good
bass
with it.
fishing. I
but
like the bass fish.
he said, "There's no way." He said, "I just don't have time." He said, "I'll get you the stuff and tell you how to do it, and you make it, and we'll go from there." and it turned out pretty good. And I built another one, and then I built my brother a fly rod, which never been used. It sits in his gun cabinet. He's passed away now, but I bet it's still in there. I gave it him to that in 1984, I think. And when I started making catfish rods, it exploded. And then when I come up with that, everybody was using musky rods, and they kept breaking them. It didn't matter what brand they was. They was not designed to bump big baits on the Mississippi River. And
Mhm.
I had Jason Jackson and Jason Mathena and 2 or 3 others said, "Man, you gotta come up with something." Tony, what's his name? Says, "You gotta come up with something." So I would order blanks in and extend them and cut them off and do different things to come up with one that would work right. And I finally come up with one that everybody liked, and then I called this company and I said, "Here's what I need, and I need it one piece blank, and we need to talk about the modulus of graphite in it because it has to be forgiving where it's not gonna break, but it also has to be able to withstand 100-pound fish." And they made one for me. And I said, "The only deal is this is my idea, and anybody that I don't care how many we sell, but they have to buy them through me." I said, "I don't want you sharing that information." And I've
There's
had
a
guys
blood
try to
pact on that one.
yeah, I got guys that tried to get me to tell them where I get the blanks and different things, I'll give you all the information. All I want is $5 a rod for every rod you sell for the next 5 years. That's a fair deal. And I had one of the bigger players in the rod industry that sells production rods wanted to do it, and his partner wouldn't let him. And
Oh,
afterwards, he messaged me. He said, "Man, I wish we'd have done that. We spent so much money, and he still don't have what you want." But that's how that rod. That's how it got started. And the name Black Horse. I had an old hot rod Mustang, and it was pretty fast. It back 168 mile an hour in 8.5 seconds.
Oof,
It
oh my gosh,
it was
heavens.
yeah,
oof.
yeah, it was really fast.
All right,
And
pause the fishing talk. I want to hear about that car.
yeah, well, I
Okay,
would
not really.
we
That's
would
just me and Jeremy.
we
I
would
know
pull
Jeremy
into
does because we
we
talked a
would
lot about his cars, his racing
yeah
cars back in the.
we pull into the racetrack on Friday nights, and all them old guys, God damn, here comes that old black Mustang. That's how the name Black Horse come about. Was
I
they
love it.
we had my buddy that helped me who's used to work for me. Uh, we had a bunch of drag bikes that put on a show, and they go around to different racetracks. And they pulled in one night down there to do the show. I said, "I want you to run down there and find out which one of them's the fastest." He said, "You ain't got no business messing in drag bikes." I said, "You go down there and find out." He said, "Why don't you pick one of the ones that's not the fastest?" I said, "That ain't no good." And I beat the fastest drag bike they had that night. I mean, I didn't know if I could do it or not, but I had to know. And Rocky says, "Man," he said, "you're gonna get spanked right good on that." But I didn't. That old car would roll right along.
What would it 60 foot?
Oh, I don't remember. I used to have time slips for it up until
Oh,
a few years ago, but it was a stick car. It was a 5 speed, and the front wheels didn't touch the ground. He was in way up in third gear.
I need everyone to understand in chat how impressive that is. That is.
I,
Okay, Lyle.
in my mind, I think I can still do that, but I'm not 100%.
You might shit your pants a little extra. Oh, sorry, but you can.
You never know.
I didn't slip up. It was Andrew.
No, look. You want to get me excited? Start talking cars. You'll get me. Let's stand. Lyle knows me and Jeremy. He knows I'll sit here and talk Mustang or Dragon all night.
I love race cars.
Well, Lyle,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
want to know your favoriteest fishing story. Good, bad, or ugly. I want to know
My
your
favorite
favoriteest
fishing
fishing story.
story was they have a tournament that Cindy and I started called Jack and Jill, and you had to have in those days. I still believe that a fishing team should be 2 people. The only reason why we ever started having 3 people teams because when gas got real high, it made it affordable. I had full intentions of taking the 3rd person out, but everybody complained about it because it cut costs so much that everybody leaves them in there. But a fishing team is 2 people. Well, we come up with this idea for a Jack and Jill tournament, and you had to have 1 woman or 2 women and a man or 2 men and a woman, but a woman had to be in the boat because there wasn't hardly any women fishing tournaments in those days. And the first year or 2, it took off. There was people bringing their daughters, their granddaughters, their wives, their girlfriends, their sisters to be able to fish this tournament. We give away a lot of prizes. Well, once we turned that over to Alex, we entered that one year, and I had found fish along the outside of an island on the Mississippi River. And a friend of mine, he goes by in his boat. He said, "Man, how you liking them Asian carp?" And I said, "Yeah, that's it, right. You got it, big boy." He took on off, and the next morning, of course, I was sponsored in those days. We had that monster cat, and we didn't worry about anybody beating us because they couldn't. And we get down there, and we get up, and we set up an anchor on those fish. And here comes the rest of the bunch. They're coming down there to fish around the dam and different things. And Troy Hansen and Amy Smith and well, she's Amy Hansen now, and Jason Burgess. They pulled in behind us and was dragging baits up the river. And Jason says, "Can we go between you and that island?" I said, "Yeah. If you get hung up, just cut me loose and we'll just go on because they're good friends of ours." And they got right beside the boat, and I had already Cindy's rod was already in the water and it got slammed about 4 eyes deep in the water, and they didn't know if we could get the fish out of the boat. Well, it was only 50 pounds, but I had
That's
just
still a
had
good
shoulder.
fish.
Well, I just had shoulder surgery, and the current was pretty hot, and they sat there and stopped and watched her catch that fish and made sure we get it in the boat before they took on off and went up through there. And we ended up winning that Jack and Jill tournament with total weight and big fish.
Oh my gosh, that's
Wow.
Yeah,
awesome.
and there was a whole bunch of other prizes, like people that traveled the furthest and different things, and that's probably my favorite fishing story. I've had a lot of others that was really good, but that when they stopped to to watch her catch that fish and to make sure that we got it in, because I can tell you, I just had shoulder surgery, and to make sure everything was okay, because they would have come over and got the boat to help me get that in if I couldn't get it in. And another good time, we was at MRM fishing that tournament. Doc and Cindy and I was fishing it, and Bill Dance and Jeff Dodd and John Warden was fishing. They was bumping and we was bumping, and we wasn't very far apart. And Cindy had a rod just hanging off the side of her boat, just dangling down there, dead stick. Boom! It gets slammed. She grabs that up, and Jeff Dodd says, "Ain't you going to help her?" I said, "You think this is the only fish she's ever caught?" And and old Bill says, "You ought to help her take that trolling motor to it." I said, "Bill, it's straight underneath the boat." And I don't remember how big that fish was, but that was a lot of fun too.
That's
But
funny.
Bill Dance is a prize. We pulled back in to unload the boat one day, and we just got there, and Bill was back in his boat down the ramp, and he stopped right in the middle of the ramp and come over and visit with us. That
I,
was a pretty special time too.
I got to meet him in Vicksburg this year and talk to him, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, he's getting on up there. I did know his age, and I haven't talked to him in a couple of years now, but yeah,
Oh yeah,
but he's still doing
Oh
everything
yeah.
that he needs to do.
he
Oh, he
is.
he still gets with it.
All right,
Yeah.
this is a big one for you, Lyle, because you are a role model in this industry. You're very well known in this industry. A lot of people admire you. A lot of people look up to you.
Oh, thank
What
you.
is your advice for all of these new young guns trying to be a legend?
Be yourself. Just
Because
be
I mean, let's
yourself.
face it, you're known. You're a legend. Everyone knows who you are.
Well,
So this
thank
is
you.
it. Your best advice for 'em.
Yeah, just be yourself. Do the best you can with what you have. If you want to be big in YouTube, you need to keep your name out there, make quality videos, buy the best equipment that you can afford. Don't buy a bunch of stuff you can't afford. Be honest with people and just try to help people catch more fish. They'll respect you if you spend the time telling them about hooks, why you like them, why you don't like them, how come your rod's working and why it doesn't work. They'll take your opinion for things, but be honest about it. I've had people ask me about where you fishing. Well, I mean, how deep are you fishing? And I tell them. But if they ask me where I was fishing, hell, I didn't mind telling them because most of the time they couldn't beat me to those spots. And if they did, we'd have 3 or 4 other places we could go in tournaments. But just be yourself. You, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, you're perfect to somebody. I promise
Aw,
That's awesome. That's why we love you, Lyle.
you. Thank you so much.
Goodness.
that was so sweet.
It was. I love it. I
You
love
know,
it so much.
I love that he's sitting here telling a story, and he's talking about Bill Dance, and he's like, Bill walked over to me. Bill said, he's like, he's just Bill.
Well,
That's when you
yeah.
know you're famous. Whenever you just call him Bill. The rest of us are always say Bill Dance. You always say first and last name.
Bill hardly ever takes anybody in his studio for whatever reason. I don't know whatever the reason was. George come over to me and he said, "Bill wants you and Cindy to come over and visit his studio." Such such a place.
Mm.
I said, "Can I bring Doc and Lynn with me?" And he said, "Sure." He said, "That's sure." I wasn't sure that that would work, but it did. So we took Doc and Lynn, and Doc then brought Vic and Athena down. And, we went through and the editing, met his daughter, his son, Leslie, his niece, who is the most wonderful woman ever. She really takes care of her own kid. Uh, but yeah, we done the whole thing. I shot live the whole time we was in, and it's somewhere on Facebook on my old account that I can't access. But that whole thing is live on
Are you
there.
banned?
Yeah. No, I got hacked and I can't get back in it, so I had to start a new Facebook account. But
Oh,
yeah,
I have.
that was an awesome time doing that. I really enjoyed that very much, but he was so gracious to do that, and he signed hats for all of us, even signed one for my kids. He just sat down and he said, "Just tell me what names that goes on it."
Oh,
Yep,
I like
and
it.
yeah, Bill's a super nice guy.
I very much, since I started doing the tournaments and interviewing the anglers and whatnot, one thing I've noticed that I missed every time I was ever at a tournament, because mainly I just paid attention to the weigh-ins. But now that I pay attention because I'm trying to bring out what it does, watching George stop and go out with all the kids in the audience and his beautiful wife and his daughter all going out and giving them hats and talking to them and being, I've just noticed how much interaction they have outside of the weigh-in and talking to people. And I don't think people realize it means a lot to those people that came to watch them.
It does. The year that I emceed, I jumped off that stage and went out and talked to kids and both people, and we give stuff away out there that we took up there, and in between boats. In those days, they didn't have it quite as refined as they do now. But if there was a slow time, I'd jump off there and go out there and visit with people and talk to them, let them talk into the microphone, answer me, and different things, and I really did enjoy that. That was a big deal to me to be able to do that. I missed fishing the tournament, but it was well worth it. And we weighed 112-pound fish at free fish before the tournament that year.
That's awesome. I do love talking to anglers. I actually, there's so much more to them than what people see and how much it does for the community and the kids. And, like this one helped Boy Scouts when I was down there.
Yeah,
This one, and that was amazing. When I went to Rising Sun, they were helping schools. So the kids earn money or hours towards a scholarship program. I was like, people need to see that there's so much more to the tournaments than what people
there
are
is.
seeing. It's incredible. It's actually quite enjoyable if you actually involve yourself in it very
It
much.
it it really is, and I enjoyed that all them tournaments and things, and, like I say, one of my favorite thing was sitting out on the tailgate of the truck for
Heck
3
yeah.
hours a morning. But
That's why I'm
Joey
so
Kirby and Joey Kirby and, the guy that owns the rod holder company down there in, um, Stacy Gaston, and I sat on the tailgate of my truck one night till 2 o'clock in the morning talking fishing.
oh wow.
Yep,
I see I could do that. I do that. In fact, last year when we went to the gathering, we actually passed up on going out to fish for the big fish for the weekend and literally just sat around at campsites talking to people and just cutting up. It was just so amazing. I
uh,
love doing that.
would you like me to answer Chris's question?
Yeah.
I think there's a couple of things. Number 1, trailering is the most stressful thing on fish. Trailering tournaments needs to be stopped immediately because hauling them up and down the road, them guys running 100 miles an hour, beating them up and down, and them roads are bad. A lot of places. That's hard on them fish. And half the time, the aerators or their oxygen or whatever will quit working before they get back, and they may not die by the time you release them. But what about the next day or the day after that?
Yep.
The other thing is, I think that the tournament world is missing the boat by not doing something like they do on live fishing, bass fishing tournaments, Major League Fishing. I think that somebody needs to do that. Start with YouTube and see how it works, but I'm pretty sure that would go over great guns.
Do you see what I've done?
Where?
I actually started a catfish tournament live page to literally post every tournament in the country by state.
That's
And
great.
I've started going to live broadcast them on a YouTube channel, the insides of the tournament, the interviews with the anglers and whatnot. But DNR actually suggested I do that. They're going to do some interviews with me. I got Chief of Fishery agreed to do an interview with me. Two DNRs from two different states are doing interviews with me. But they said if you can get the catfishing community to show how large it is and how big it is, become organized like the bass tournaments, then you can stop the commercial fishing in the Pay Lakes, which is why I started the catfish tournaments lives.
That's not going to stop
It's not going to stop them, but it'll help get them regulated.
in
Actually, I
detail.
should say regulated.
I was dealing with 9 state departments on regulation. I had a detailed list I posted 2 years in a row of what it took per the heads of all them states to make that go away. And it had to be followed. It had to be done that way, or you're never going to get rid of them. And people wouldn't stop cussing the people that make the rules. They throw big fits at meetings and get thrown out of them and stuff. And I finally just said, I just give up, hold the post down. You guys don't want to get these rules passed. You don't want to do it bad enough to stop doing what they say you cannot do to get them passed. So I just quit
Well,
trying at that point.
this is what I learned. I learned just the flat out dirty truth. They said the reason why DNR can't really, uh, they're not allowed to say anything or get involved because um, it goes up a chain.
That's right.
And because of the amount of money involved in the pay leg side of it, and they said the if we can't show how much money, the problem is DNR is not aware of how much money is actually involved in the catfishing world. And I'm like, well, there's obviously it's tons. So I've started showing
But
the
it's not
schools.
enough.
I've started, huh?
It's not enough.
Not if they don't see it, but they're not aware. And
The commercial people are the one that gets the big fish and takes them these payments.
yep,
The majority of the time, a commercial fisherman gets those. The average commercial fisherman that is selling them to fish markets and places like that, they don't want them giants anyhow. Them people that buy fish from fish markets, they would much rather have the smaller fish because they're way better eating.
Well, yeah, there's not
The
all the
peop
toxins, not as many toxins.
That's exactly right. The people that are the issue is the ones that are specifically catching those giant fish to put in pay lakes.
Yep,
They're still commercial fishermen, and that industry, the industry has really, really deep pockets,
yep.
really deep pockets, and most of them have a few politicians in their pit
Well,
pocket.
unfortunately, Lyle, they're idiots because the
So
conservation of the fish,
it's more important.
well, because they're not going to have a business if they keep taking them.
That's right, and, and you can ask George Young the next time you see him how many over 100-pound fish are caught in Memphis every year in commercial nets.
Yep. But it's just ironic to me
They
that
don't
they
even
don't
tell them.
see.
They don't tell you how big they are. They don't want you to know about world records, state records, and things like that because instead of getting pennies on the pound to sell them to somebody who's gonna process them, they can get $4 or $5 a pound to a guy to pay.
Yep. But
That's the issue.
I just can't figure out how they don't understand that the conservation of the fish affects their business. They're go when we run out of fish and they can't get any more,
Right?
their business isn't going to exist.
That's right. You're
So
100% correct.
I don't understand their logic. It's like you do know in 5 years you're going to be shut down and burned to the ground, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they will have nothing in 5 years. They're already leaving Ohio to go get fish, but you know what? That's a whole nother show. But it just
I
makes me angry because I can't understand people's logic. I'm like, I
I
don't
work
understand this.
I work very closely with the Department of Conservation for Missouri to get the regulations put in on Truman Lake, Lake Ozark, and the tributaries. We now have a slot limit. They actually raised the limit of fish that you can have, but they have to be unders and only two overs. And then there's a slot between 26 and 32, I believe. But you allow two overs and 10 unders. So you actually get to keep more fish, but the ones that's in the slot, the ones from 8 to say 12 or 13 pounds, depends on if they're long and heavy or short and heavy and long and skinny. That all depends on a blue catfish because they've got so many body styles. But that we went to meetings and I went to the State Department in Jeff City at and talked in front of Congress. And I got into it during this with a little old gal from Southwest Missouri. Her constituents, they don't have jobs and they needed those fish to support their family. I said, lady, I on the way up here, I bet I seen 100 McDonald's signs and all got help wanted signs. Tell them to go get a job. I mean, that's kind of how I am. I light them up like that. And she got mad. Her name was Miss Brown, but we're talking in front of the Senate of the state of Missouri. It didn't matter to me.
That would be me.
They let me have my say. And she said, well, what about the white cats? I said, there's no white cats in Missouri. We got blues, channels, flatheads, bullheads. There's no white cats. The only place I know there's white cats is out east. And I said, the conservation folks are here. Ask them if there's white cats in that river or in that lake. And of course, they're just sitting there shaking their head because there's not any. They get a white um, blue cat that's light colored, and they think it's a white cat. It's not. It's still a blue cat.
Yes.
Yeah. White cats are pretty small. You.
Do you know what another irony here is, real quick?
What's that?
Uh, we're having Asian carp invasion.
Oh yeah,
And the irony is Asian carp only have one natural predator, and that is catfish. We're allowing them to take all the catfish out, so now we're having an Asian carp invasion because there's not enough catfish to control the population, which incidentally they created.
that's exactly right. We had a young lady and her team for Southern Illinois University that come up when we was running tournaments, and they was doing studies on catfishing and how they affect Asian carp. Asian carp is a world of protein. The problem with them is they grow so fast they don't get them ate up quick enough. But that's we knew that.
Yep.
But they have become a major food source for blue cats, flatheads, and channel cats when they're small, because a lot of the big channel cats in our state has been harvested out for whatever reason. Some of it's
Yeah.
commercial fishing, some of it's not. But blue cats, it's a big part of their diet now is Asian carp. Uh, but they just grow so fast they can't eat them fast enough, and they're so prolific breeders, like rabbits, only on a higher scale.
There's a lot. I'm trying, Lyle. This is my last ditch effort, which incidentally is why I took over the Golden Whiskers, because if I could make it big enough that they saw just how big and popular, catfishing is. Again, everything I've done is to try and show exactly how massive the catfishing community is. So between the Golden Whiskers and the tournament page, DNR helping me this time. Normally, they will not do interviews and go on record.
I've done interviews. I've had conservation agents come to my house and sit down at a table with me and do a show with me.
Yep.
We've had them come down when we was live at Memphis and at Monsters on the Ohio, and they would come down and do interviews. It's Catfish Conference one year, and that means a lot that they'll do those shows with you and I and whoever else, because it's important that people understand that a lot of them guys really want to do right, but they can
Yep.
only do what the law says they're allowed to do.
Well, this time I got the chief of fishery to agree to sit down with me, so I am way excited about that.
Yep, I've done interviews with our chief of fishery a couple of times. He's a very nice guy. Um, I know several of them people on a first name basis.
Well, have them contact me, Lyle, so they
We
can
used to
do.
walk into those meetings when we was trying to get them regulations passed, and then most of them be standing around talking before the meeting was started. They'd come over and shake hands and set us down, put us up on the front row, and because they knew that we had a little bit of pull in the industry, and we was going to help them get where they needed to be, and we did. I made a lot of phone calls, and we actually had people go online. You didn't have to live in the state of Missouri to put your 2 cents worth into the Missouri Conservation Department to get these regulations passed. And we talked about that every week for months on Catfish Weekly, and people would write letters and send emails and stuff. And the thing about Missouri Carp Conservation, they ticked me off one time, and I had people sending them messages about something that they told me they was going to do and they didn't. And the Missouri Department of Conservation has a regulation. If you have an email, you must read all your emails before you start your day's work. And these people was sending in thousands of emails to 4 or 5 of these guys a day. And they'd have to read all of them before they got anything done. Most of the time they wasn't getting it done. The guy finally called me up. He said, "Dude, you got to stop. You have to stop." He said, "We can't get anything done."
I
I
love
said,
it.
"We had a deal. I would help you and you help me."
Well, you
But
know what I think you can do, Lyle, is come on one of the live interviews for the Catfish Tournament Lives and talk about the conservation and the DNR as well. I would love to have you talk about that
sure, I'd be glad to.
because that is very important to me in the future of my fish. And they've kind of got a war with somebody who's pretty relentless and retired. So the two
Good.
combined, they're in trouble.
Yeah, probably so.
I have nothing better to do with my time than save my fish.
I got you.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming up, but I got to give a shout out to our sponsors to these amazing awards. That because these people have done this out of the kindness of their heart. So I'm going to play for our sponsors real quick, and
Okay.
then the gathering advertisement, and then say our goodbyes.
I was raised with a backhand, yes sir and no man, crushing every problem with the cocaine. Yeah, learned a lot of lessons, know not who to mess with, take it out back like a real man. I hear you running your mouth only when I'm not around. Payback's a bitch and you fit the script, so pony up, boy, you're about to get your ass kicked. If you got something to say, step on up to the plate. Name a time, name a place. You signed the line, got debt to pay. Your word ain't worth a damn dime. Go cash that check, you can't write. The chips are down, can't walk away. So here's a tip for you to take. You wanna talk shit, put your money where your mouth is.
You know, I
You
got to
should,
tell you, my husband told me today, he says, you know, your choice of music is probably not your target crowd. I said, I don't know any other music.
well, then it'll work. You know, that is like somebody accepting you for who you are. Your music is who you are,
I am.
right?
But
You know,
I want to say thank you to you and to everyone that else has sponsored an award. And if you want to sponsor an award, just get a hold of me. You don't have to send me anything. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is tell me, I want to donate a hat and a t-shirt. I want to donate a rod. I want to donate a reel. You pick your award and we will put it on there and put your advertisement on the page. It is
and you
that
still have
simple.
openings for that, right?
Absolutely. But we allow more than one sponsor per award too. We don't
Okay.
want to make someone choose an award they don't want to. You sponsor what you like. There's no, you don't have to do this, do that. It can be any award. It can be multiple sponsors per award. That's it's irrelevant. It's out of, you're donating. You pick your award. That's just how it is. Um,
Very nice.
and now I want to play for the gathering, which is the live presentation award for the Golden Whiskers, and of course, my favorite event of the year for the catfishing world, where everyone comes together and hangs out and congratulates each other and talks to all the anglers that have inspired you, or that you voted for, or that you watch on YouTube, or that you watch on TikTok, all come together in one place. It's a free event other than paying for your camping spots. You get a banquet at the Golden Whiskers. You get a banquet or a buffet at the gathering. There's a $2,000 tournament payout. Both of these ceremonies are ran on donations only. They do not go to me. They do not go to the Golden Whiskers. One would go to the Daryl Morrison. They are on the Golden Whiskers page to tell you how to become sponsors. Whether it's $5, $5,000, it doesn't matter. Every cent counts to keep these events going on. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing, and I cannot wait to see everybody there. And here's information on both, and thanking our corporate sponsors, RCT and Ancient Mariner, for literally paying for the entire presentation event, everything from the pavilion to the food to the decor. They have paid for everything for the presentation at the gathering. So hats off to them to make that happen at their favorite event, incidentally.
Ready, set, showtime. Heart of a lion is roaring in my soul. Truth is trapped like a fire in my bones. Make my mark, no apologies. Today in the life of revolutionary. Here we go, here we go, here we go. My life, king of all my empire. Nothing's gonna stop me, it's a show. One chance, one shot. Talk is cheap, so what you got? World is gonna want.
Yay!
Very
I
nice.
Hey,
cannot wait to
Danny.
go. I cannot wait. Lyle, again, thank you so, so much for coming up today. And seriously, congratulations on your Legend and Hall of Fame
Thank you so much.
nominations. And
I,
today you showed why. You showed why. You were
I,
everywhere, been everywhere, done everything. You have literally made a difference to me and to so, 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 so many other anglers out there learning from you day in and day out. And it's absolutely amazing. And I can't thank you enough from the catfishing community from the bottom of my heart.
well, thank you
You know,
so much. I'm just, it's an honor. It always is an honor to get nominated, but these two are they mean a lot. And anybody that doesn't think they mean something to them that gets nominated, they're just telling you lies. It means as much to them as it would to me. So yeah, I'm very humbled by the fact that people nominate me and for these awards and stuff. And if I win, that's great. And if I didn't, there's somebody that deserves it probably a lot more than me.
Well, you've been incredible to all of us, and thank you
yeah.
very much.
You're
And
very
thank
Well,
welcome.
all of you for coming in and listening to Lyle and talking with us. And we will see all of you next Thursday. And we're going to get Lyle scheduled for Catfish Tournament Lives to talk about that conservation of fish because you know I'm up there on that.
woo.
I got you.
Love all of you. Happy fishing this weekend.